Hi, this is Thomas with Believe in the Run.
This is Robbe with Believe in the Run.
And this is Megan with Believe in the Run.
And you're listening to The Drop, our weekly podcast about Robbe quitting running.
Yeah, we're back.
What's
crazy
It's recycling.
What's crazy is that we recorded the last podcast 2 weeks ago, I think, because we had Brandon was gone on vacation. And then since then, it's been like a full circle of events.
Like you got back into running and back out of running.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm back, feeling good, running again. And then now I'm back to where the other podcast was. There's a whole life, circle of life.
We missed the good part. We missed the week of good.
How boring would it be, though, if Robbe just had smooth sailing?
Yeah, it was. I felt like the podcast was getting lame there.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
Here's
so
no
lame.
workouts.
I hit all my splits.
Yeah.
But actually, no, this is the podcast about all things running and, of course, our side alleys of tangents that we run down and bring you back. But it seems like from the audience, people don't mind. So we're going to keep just having that free flow of ideas.
Yeah. And if you are listening to this, make sure you give this a rating and leave a review if you can.
Oh, it'd be
we
so
always
nice,
forget to say that. So I was like, I just remembered it right now. So I was like, I'm going to say it right now.
This is what happens when you quit drinking.
Yeah.
It's like the brain starts working.
Dude, it actually is true, though.
I know.
My memory and forgetfulness levels have drastically improved.
But that's the thing, like when you talk about...
It's wild.
When you talk about having these little coincidences where you think of something and then it happens, or those, I feel like when you are in tune, that stuff does happen. I think that it's a correlation to clarity of mind.
What's that book? Wasn't there a book about that?
The Secret?
Yeah, isn't that what it's called? The Secret?
I don't know.
It
I
is.
was kidding, but
no, that actually is the book. It's like the law of attraction.
All right,
which is like,
but that's really trending with the Generation Z right now on TikTok. They're like manifestation, and they're like, I'm going to manifest someone else paying my BG&E bill.
Dude, there's really nothing new under the sun. Like that is the same cycle.
Yeah, but how have they figured out how to be lazier in the process?
I don't know. That is a good question.
Actually, I was watching something online. I forget what I was scrolling through Instagram, but the guy was talking about everybody's worried about George Orwell's 1984 happening, with this overlord government and all that. He goes, if you actually read Brave New World, that is actually closer to what's happening. He goes, you make these little changes and you don't think they're bad.
Oh, yeah.
Because you think they're helpful, like genetic, you know, making genetics cleaner, making this. And then you find out that you've destroyed everything.
Yeah. That's interesting. I can never finish Brave New World. I started that book probably like 6 times and just never could get into it.
I challenge you.
But yeah, I mean,
how else are we going to get reviews like the Tracksmith with all these literary comments?
I have read 1984 though. That's a good one.
Animal Farm.
Yeah, I'm a huge Kurt Vonnegut fan.
I read it. That's probably between Kurt Vonnegut and Ken Follett and Brian Herbert, or I forget Brian's his son, the one who wrote all the Dune books. I read all like a long time ago. Read all the Dune books, and then went back and read all the House books and stuff like that. But Kurt Vonnegut was one of my favorites. But I had to stop reading.
Yeah, I feel like it's there for a certain phase of your life.
Yeah.
And then you kind of move on. But
also depression starts cracking in.
Yeah. But anyways, so we can get back. That was our literary segment, book recommendations.
Yeah.
Are you reading any books right now or audio books right now?
That's the question.
No, that's a good one because I am an audio. I prefer the audio book. I just downloaded, but I haven't started listening to it yet, is David Goggins' new book.
Oh, yeah.
And here's what I think. I think, yes, it's overdose. You can't live like David Goggins.
Yeah, it's not normal.
But I do get pumped up with the, like that, no excuses, no kind of like
discipline.
Yeah, like driving. Even if I don't follow it to the level where David Goggins might go, I feel pumped up and I go, yeah, if I want to take things into my own hands, if I want to do stuff, you can.
It's up to you. Yeah.
It's just how much of it you want to do.
Yeah. And I think his life is an extreme for sure. And I do always think it is an inspiration in some ways, but I'm also know in the same way that people who are completely obsessed with running or other things, triathlons, whatever, there's other parts of your life that are being neglected.
Oh, no, I think
and then no one talks about this.
He'll be the first one to tell you that. I think he'll actually tell you that. I mean, the guy's been married a few times.
Right.
And can you imagine being married to David Goggins?
Just like getting ice water poured in your face at 3 a.m.
Actually, Laura Green should do that. That's a skit. Like being married to David Goggins.
That's actually a good one.
Would be a good skit.
Yeah.
Pitch that one.
All right.
Yeah.
She's listening.
Stay hard. And then I also downloaded, and I haven't listened to, what's the one with the Prince? Or he's no longer a Prince.
Prince Harry?
Yeah.
Oh, the one that's a bestseller right now.
I feel bad even doing it because I feel like it's voyeuristic.
Wait, it's got a good title. It's called
Spare.
Yeah.
Oh. Or something like that. I feel bad, but I am kind of fascinated with.
Yeah, you're right. It is that.
With the royal family,
oh wow, I never knew that about you.
You're not interested in them at all?
I have zero interest in the royal family.
What?
It's always like weird to me when I hear people that are into it. I don't even know what happens there.
Here's why I'm interested in it.
That's why it's fascinating.
And this has to do with running. We'll tie this into the London Marathon, I hope. But so it goes back. What I think is interesting, these people go back to like medieval times. Like they can trace everybody.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Like they've been like his grandmother was right around the time cars were being invented. Like when
she lived a long time, right?
Almost 100 years.
She the one that just died?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I call her Liz, but...
What does he call her?
Lizzie.
What does he call his grandma?
I call her Lizzie Bruin, Berenstain Bears fan.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so for me, it's fascinating that how many families or people can trace their wealth, their history, their genealogy clearly back to medieval times.
Yeah. I mean, with 23andMe, I feel like that's a little more...
Everybody's related to like Elvis in that thing.
It's always weird when people get stoked that they're related to somebody from 300 years ago. I'm like, trust me, that none of that is in your bloodstream.
Nobody's ever calling you and be like, yeah, my grandfather was a crack addict back in the days of Amsterdam. Yeah,
90% of your family tree.
He was a slave. My grandfather was a slave.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying that. They're all like, oh yeah, I'm related to Shakespeare.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Right.
But anyways, so that's cool. Are you reading any books, Megan?
Not right now.
No? Mm-mm. No training books. No
this is books. Odd because normally there's a stack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm just a little tired these days.
Okay.
Just not reading.
Yeah. I will tell you though, Megan and I were talking about, to tie this to running, we were talking about easy paces and stuff today because I was kind of like, my easy pace is getting very easy. And
that's nice.
It is, but like so.
Oh, like it's not easy to run. Pace. It's just getting slower.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, maybe I can even to enjoy the slower pace, enjoy an audiobook or something. Listen to that.
Yeah, no, that's good. I've never done the audiobook thing, so
me neither.
I don't know. I listen to podcasts mostly through audio, but I read it on Kindle sometimes. I switch back and forth between.
Are you reading something?
I'm reading like 2 books right now. I'm reading Chuck Klosterman's The 90s, which is cool because it's like reliving. Have you ever read any of his books?
Mm.
He writes like
I've never heard of him.
It's kind of like witty essays and deep dives into cultural stuff.
That sounds like something I would like.
Broad range of subjects and things, and it's really fun to read. But it's all about the 90s. And then I'm reading some Sherlock Holmes short stories.
I think the Kindle is the worst of both.
The worst of both?
Yeah. So I love a paper book because you touch it and you feel it's tactile. You can smell the print, all that stuff. And then I like audiobook because it's got the convenience of being able to go everywhere with you and you don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
And that's the idea behind a Kindle is that you can have all your books in that one little spot, but then you got to actually read them.
Yeah. What's the hold up?
The reading part.
Oh.
Yeah, but you can increase the font on that one.
Okay, I'll have to try that.
You can make it.
Okay.
You'll be able to read it.
2 inches tall.
Okay, I think I need to get a Kindle. My God, I am fighting the vision thing so bad.
I've seen you over there.
Oh,
He's
sucks.
looking at his phone like it's like this now.
You look. I need to give that jeweler's eye to.
Yeah, seriously.
I actually just need to invest in a pair of readers or something.
Yeah. Well, we did get an email from Warby Parker, so maybe you can get in on that.
Readers are one of those cheap things.
Oh.
I think you go to like.
Oh yeah, that's where the rack at Walgreens.
Yeah.
I always feel like they're almost too cheap. Sometimes I want to buy them just because I feel like that's a good deal all the time.
I know. And then you're like, just pop the lenses out.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, it'll make, if you need a costume at some point, you can have glasses ready.
I mean, the weird thing is both you and I do wear glasses. Mm-hmm. Obviously, right now we're both wearing contacts. But yours is pretty severe. You've got a crazy ass prescription.
It's a -8.5.
Would you run without glasses on?
There's no way.
Okay. Like, can you see your feet?
I don't think so.
What?
Yeah. I couldn't. If you were at the door, I wouldn't know who you were.
Whoa.
Probably, unless I could tell probably by the outline. But
So it's not like a super sense is taking over. So like your sense of smell, you'd be like,
no,
Megan's over there.
But speaking of, and we'll talk about all our running stuff like real quick in a second. But speaking of that, what you're talking about, heightened sense of smell. Last Friday, so at the office, you guys had already gone. Whitefoot Jared was still here working and annoying me, and but I went for like a walk. It was a nice day for outside at lunch. And I was walking, I went up into like Broadway and Fells Point, so around here. And there was a blind guy like walking with his cane. And in the middle of the sidewalk was a bunch of stuff like planters. And I was waiting to see if he was really blind. So I was like, is he gonna...
Robbie's throwing stuff out in front of him.
Not really blind, but I mean like really, really blind.
Yeah.
Because, some people still use a cane and they could see shapes. Like probably me. And he did kind of like, he would run into it. So it was like, he was like trying
So he was actually blind.
Yeah, he was trying to get around all this stuff because he was just like right in the middle of the sidewalk. And so I was like, okay. And then we were coming up to an intersection. You know how in Baltimore, the intersections, none of the beeping signals work. Have you ever even heard one? No. Maybe twice.
No.
Yeah. And so I was nervous that
you'd have to push him.
Honestly, yeah. I was nervous he was going to walk into traffic because I don't know how it works. And maybe that's, maybe that's a natural reaction. Or maybe it's, so I came up, like he was stopped and I came up to him. I was like, hey man, just like, hold on a second. There's still cars coming. Cause it looked like he was about to step off the curb. And he's like, oh, thank you. And he's like, hey, this is Eastern Avenue, right? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, and Wolf's down that way. And I said, yep. And he was like, is there construction going on here? Which there was. And so the whole, like most of the sidewalk was closed. There's just like a small path. He's like, do you mind helping me get through here? And so I was like, well, sure. And so
Did you also tie him a tie?
Yeah, right? So he grabbed onto my arm. Here we are. This is like a Larry David situation, like walking through down a couple blocks, just this my new blind friend on my arm.
How far did you go?
It was like 2 blocks, but then then I was like, this is my perfect opportunity to ask like every question I ever want to ask about, how do you get places, do all this stuff.
And so you learned he has a heightened sense of smell.
So here's what happened then. I said, what do you do for a living or whatever? And he said he's a lawyer. And I was like, do I make the joke?
The Daredevil.
Yeah. Do I make the joke that you're the real Daredevil? But I think I didn't sneak it in there because he kept talking. And then it was like the moment had passed. And so, but I wanted to, not because I thought it was offensive, but because I was like, man, maybe he's heard that a million times.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
Yeah.
If you're a blind lawyer.
I couldn't decide whether or not to go for it, and then the moment passed. But I was thinking about that because here's the thing. When he said he comes to the intersections, first off, he only tries to go to intersections where it's just one-way streets. Yeah. And then he can just hear, coming, and so I figured he must.
Except for electric vehicles now.
Oh, yeah. But hopefully if it's a Tesla, it stops before it hits you.
That would be good.
But here's
can we clarify one thing for Megan?
Yeah.
Because so the Daredevil is a character from Marvel that is a blind lawyer, but he can kick ass because he has like all these other extrasensory.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. For anyone who, it's not like he's an actual character. He's not Evil Knievel jumping Grand Canyon blind. But so the best part about this story is that I'm talking to him about how he gets directions, and we started talking about running shoes and asking for recommendations or walking shoes. I'd recommend a Hoka, but we were at an intersection, and I'm just talking my head off, and he's like, "I think we can go now," and I was like, "Oh yeah, it's right." So the blind guy
is telling me
when to cross
the intersection.
Very good.
Anyways, so yeah, he lives around the corner, so
maybe you'll run into him.
Did you get his name?
I did, but I forget.
Oh, okay.
Of course. So not my forgetfulness isn't quite cured yet.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
it was a wild time.
That is wild. We have a shite ton to talk about today.
Oh, yeah, let's get to running
on some of the running sides of stuff. Where do we want to start?
I guess with Grit, since that just wrapped up.
Oh
yesterday.
yeah.
I mean, that just wrapped up, but before it wrapped up, this past weekend, we had the Oregon Ridge Sufferfest, which was better than I could have ever hoped for, and at the same time, a total disaster. But
so it was perfect.
It was
Grit.
It was insane because when I got there, when we started, we probably had. You saw the picture. I don't know. What do you think? How many people were?
I counted.
In there?
I think it was like 60.
Okay, like 60 trail runners, because we're doing this loop thing. It was from 8 a.m. in the morning till 4 p.m. at night. And we get there. We've done this at the same park 2 other years. We started this whole thing during COVID because there was no races. So we're like, let's get together. We can hang out in the parking lot so nobody's so close to each other. Drink some beers, have some fun, do some trail miles. It's a 4-mile loop. So if you do a loop and you want to hang out, you can. You can do 5 loops and hang out in between.
Yeah, and that was basically the Faster Bastards.
Yeah.
We did that for a couple years.
We figured we could incorporate it into Grit because people are trying to get miles. And what a great way to get miles, having it supported, hanging out, good times. So, Robbe, you didn't make it there right on time.
Yeah, there's another dumpster day in the neighborhood. You know, I can't miss those.
I get a text message from Rob. Hey, there's a dumpster day, and I got to help Kimmy get a kitchen table into the dumpster.
No injuries this time.
No, none this time. It's all straightforward. But so I got there a little late.
Last time Robbie cut his leg open, and you can go back and listen to podcasts for that saga.
Episode 100.
Yeah, but
around there.
Yeah. So Robbie gets there a little late. So Jarrett and I have already taken off. Everybody, we gave the, Matt Kaczarski helped set it up on the Faster Bastard side, and we gave a little speech about what to do. Jarrett and I took off a little bit after everybody else, but we're coming down. So we finished with our first loop.
Which is what, 4.5 miles? About? Yeah.
And it was a beautiful day. Like January.
Very nice.
It was like high 30s at the start. Average temperature was probably like 40 something when we finished. But we come down and I see police cars, and all the stuff that I had taken out of my car for everybody was packed back into my car. And I was like, crap. So we've got 2 cop cars and this little woman who was very upset that we were having an unauthorized event at this place, which is a public park.
Right. I'm imagining Dolores Umbridge from Harry Potter.
You're not
Pretty
far
close.
off. Yeah.
I knew it.
Very upset that we're doing this. And the cops are like, well, they're not doing anything illegal. And she's like, well, there's more than 10 people and they don't have a permit. And he's like, but they can park here because it's a public place. And so we talked to the cops, and the cops were like, look. But meanwhile, some of the people that were there to run, they got spooked. And like, I'm always surprised how little, I shouldn't say little backbone, but they're like, people freak out at stuff, and I'm like, work around it. So we talked to the cop.
Yeah.
And he's like, as long as you don't have open containers, which I had brought koozies. And
You drank them through metamorphosis.
Right. And he's like, you guys had a fire pit out. Don't do the fire pit. So we're like, fine.
Yeah.
The lady is like flipping out. And she's like, no, they
Did
can't.
you try to reason with her?
I didn't talk to her because I don't talk to people like that. Like, I'm just like,
I feel like you do talk to people like that.
That is true. That I do. But
I don't, but I feel like you do.
I calmed the one lady down when we were on a run, but that was a different story. This lady, I could tell, like, she's arms folded, angry. She had already gotten into it with one of the other faster bastards had kind of like tried to reason. So the cops are like, I don't know why we're here. You're not doing anything illegal. Nothing we can do. But at this time, a bunch of people are leaving because they're freaked out because the cops are there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like the cops are going to arrest someone for trail running. Come on.
Well, I went up to the cop. I said, if I leave my car here, am I going to get a ticket or anything?
Yeah.
He's like, no.
They're like, didn't they literally say we just want to go get coffee?
Yeah. They're like, we didn't have to. I was like, we've done this 2 years ago in a row. Like, what's the deal? And he's like, yeah, during COVID, we didn't have to come out for calls like this.
Yeah.
He was all pissed off, but he was totally cool. And the cops were really cool.
Yeah.
But the lady got all fired up. And so she went to the gate of the park.
Yeah.
She closed the gate and stood in front of it. So when cars were like coming up,
that's what happened to me.
She was telling them to go. Meanwhile, we told everybody there's another parking lot, which was a quarter mile away. Mm-hmm. We're like, just go park in the other parking lot. And she had no problem. So she just basically made us move to a different parking lot.
Was that parking? Are those like managed by two different groups?
That I don't know, but it's the same park.
Did she work for the park?
She worked. Here's the problem. She's the events coordinator for the park. It was her day off. And I think someone called her and said, hey, I think, because ASICS put up a tent. And
yeah, probably didn't help.
Yeah. So it was like, I think there's an event going on in the parking lot. So she probably came down on her day off.
Yeah.
And was all pissed off. That
that is the crazy thing, is that she closed the gate. So I came by around 9:30 or 10, and then she was like, keep going, park's closed for an unauthorized event. And so I just went to the mall or whatever, or over in Cockeysville, and just parked there, tried to call everyone, no one's answering. So I thought it was actually shut down. So I almost went home, and then Jarrett finally called me.
Yeah.
And then I came back and just parked in the normal parking, which, by the way, is always a shit show that on any day for the nature center parking. So like the fact that she diverted all the cars for everyone coming to the park to that one area was a terrible idea, because the parking lot that she closed off has probably 200 spots,
right? And
it's completely empty.
It was completely empty, and she wasn't letting anybody in, and then they were closing the gate after people left. So it was kind of crazy, but everybody, the people that stayed, went over to the other parking lot, which literally, like, this is silly. It's like moving from one side of the house to the other side of the house and being like, okay, now it's fine.
Right.
Well, because she couldn't do anything over there. She can't, there's no gate, there's no nothing to stop people.
And the people there were cool with it.
Yeah. And so the party just moved over there, and it was great because it had picnic tables and stuff. So people set up, like, basically even a bigger party over on that side. So we kept running. Robbe got there, and we saw Robbe finally. And so I got to run one lap with you. Mm-hmm. And it was just great. Like, everybody was out there, and you were in the woods, and sooner or later you came across just about everybody when you're. Yeah,
it's kind of cool. You just see people. You stop for a couple seconds or stop after a loop, and then you see a bunch of people come through, and and you're like, oh, did not even know you were here.
And that was a funny thing, because we still had to pass the lady for the loop. So we're all running by her, and like, we're all, hey.
She must have been losing her mind, because she probably thought, because of that, but also she's probably thought, oh, they're going to run for a couple hours, not 8 hours.
I know.
So like, they were.
She stayed there all day.
She was at that gate till at least 3 o'clock.
Yeah, till 3 o'clock.
And I felt bad because she had some kid with her that was I'm going to say in his 20s or something, probably works for the park or something. And he was like helping her guard. She probably called him in his backup and was helping her guard the gate. But like, it was like a real show of like feudalism, because
should have tried to extort her. I bet it wouldn't have worked. Extort or bribe.
Doris Umbridge was a good description.
She's definitely an HOA president.
Yeah.
For sure.
Somebody was calling her like Karen of the Gate or something like
she's
that.
literally gatekeeping.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But
gatekeeping the park.
we ended up having a good time. Everybody ran. I went right after I finished my 4th loop. Jarrett and I went and got a hamburger at now my favorite place on earth. It's called John Brown.
He hasn't stopped talking
John
about
Brown's
it.
Butcher.
Yeah.
No, it's John Brown's General and Butchery.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to tell you right now, if you are on planet Earth and you can make it there, they had the best hamburger I've ever had in my life.
I've been meaning to go there forever.
Robbie,
It's better than the Fuzzy's Burger?
dude, I've
Really?
never had anything this good. I'm telling you,
All right.
best burger I've ever had. And
He wants to like drive all the way back out there for it.
I think there's one in Remington, too.
get out of here.
Yeah. There is. I'm just not sure. I think their hours are a bit different.
All right. So, I mean, it was insane. So if there's one in Remington, that would be a little closer. And then we went back and we partied and waited for the finisher to get down. So each loop was about 4.5 miles. And I probably ran further than I should have.
I can't believe
because
you did
I was
20.
I was wrecked. And I know you ran more than you should have.
Yeah. I don't even want to talk about it.
You guys get all caught up out there.
I was feeling good. Like, you just want to run trails with friends. It's been so long since I've run trails because of doing this marathon training. And we ran in the A6 Trabuco Max 2, which, by the way, was pretty
Phenomenal.
awesome shoe. I had low expectations for it because it's like A6 trail shoe.
I loved it.
But it might be the most comfortable A6 shoe.
I think it's right up there with the Nimbus. I think it's almost
It's not
feels
as
like
soft as the Nimbus, though. It's like just more, it's like bouncier.
Yeah. Here's the crazy thing is I thought that it would be lighter than it is because it felt really light on the trails.
Oh, is it heavy?
I think it is.
Oh, wow.
Like
It did feel light.
because I saw like a spec sheet or something, and it was like for the 9, it might be close to 11 ounces.
Oh, okay. So it's probably like the Caldera. I feel like the Brooks Caldera was close to that, which is similar to the Caldera.
Okay.
I think better, though.
It felt great, and I will tell you the grip was good because we had 3 stream crossings,
Oh, yeah.
and Jarrett was wearing an Ultra,
The Lone Peak 7.
and he slipped and slid all over the place. Where he even fell in the completely did the side splash where like the whole arm gets wet and everything.
Smashed your GoPro screen.
Yeah, he broke one of our GoPros. But I thank him because he was carrying the camera. Yeah, but he went down sideways in a stream.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
then
was that on film?
it wasn't. But I did get him slipping on the next
Okay.
on the next round. I pulled out the camera because I'm like, I'm not missing this again. And the worst part is I have that 360 camera, so no matter what, I would have caught it
Oh, right.
if it was recording.
So yeah, those shoes are really nice. I was pretty happy with them. But yeah, same thing. Like I did 2 loops and then I was feeling good and I wanted to get in, like 14 miles. Even though Coach Castor, is he today's guest or is he?
No.
Okay, who's coming up in a couple weeks? He told me not to run 14 miles a day, to run like 10. Of course, I ignored that because I was having fun on the trails.
And I feel you because it just did feel like it was so much fun to be running with
Yeah,
people. Like
and-
I got to run with people I can't run with on the road, like John Ober,
Yeah.
and Trevor, and those people. Like they're normally like
Right.
super fast, but on the trails it kind of
Balances
equaled
it
thing
out a
out.
little.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, but the problem was at the last loop, it was probably a half an hour between my second and third loop.
So you rested, everything contracted.
Yeah, and then that's when I felt my whatever is bothering me.
So why did you take the half an hour break?
Well, because I was waiting for Matt Kacharski. I was going to run with him, and then he was waiting for Jen, and then he was like moving his car, and then I was like, it like kept getting longer, and then I was like, well, okay, I felt fine in the beginning, and then just the last couple miles I started feeling it, and then I took 2 days off because I was like, okay, just play it safe, and then yesterday was horrible. 5 miles easy, completely shit show. Like back to how sore it was the first time I did it. So I don't know. I'm a little mentally scatterbrained.
You gotta meditate.
I got dry needled last night.
Oh, there you go.
But here's the thing: it can't. Where the where it hurts, it's a tendon, so you can't
Like
dry
sticking
needle
the
it directly. You can't. You can just do muscles, so or whatever. So he did my whole calf, which couldn't walk last night because like literally like after he did, I was planning on running some errands and couldn't get out of the house. So I mean,
is it fine today?
Yeah, it's just sore, but
Yeah. Well, right before we leave the woods here, I just want to congratulate Trevor.
Yeah.
And so Trevor Fonts, is it Fonts or Fonte?
I think it's Fontes.
Oh, is it Fontes? Okay, so Trevor,
I could be wrong.
This is his second time winning the Oregon Trail, and the thing was 10 laps. I think won it last time, but it was shorter
distance,
and now it was a little bit longer because one of the parts of the trail was closed, and I think he did 11 laps.
No, he did 10.
He did 10.
Yeah.
So and at 4.5. How many
it was
miles?
4.6. He did at least 46. I think tacked on a little bit more. So maybe.
And then our female winner was Shannon Piles, who has been a long time bastard, and she's having a year. Like she did a comeback marathon and had a great marathon, and she just did this one. I think she did. Was it 5 laps or 6 laps?
She did 5.
Yeah.
So Trevor had 45.5 miles. On Saturday, and it's nice because they're both actually.
He also ran in Pegasus, didn't he?
Yeah, which is crazy.
On these trails were muddy and slippery and rocky,
like a lot of mud.
Yeah,
and he was running in the Peg 38s or something. And then Shannon, she did. Pulling it up here, 24.1 miles. So she did 5 loops. Yep.
Yeah, she had the choice of trophies first. And she went Luigi, which was a surprise to me. I would have lost money on that bet.
Interesting.
They were both good, so couldn't really go wrong.
You couldn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that wrapped that up. And then yesterday wrapped up Grit.
Mm-hmm. And I guess we should go over real quick the winners of Grit, or the mileage totals.
Patrick Blair with a 703-mile month won the mileage award.
Insane.
And we know Patrick, and we know that this is a regular month
Legit.
for him.
We might have to actually have him on just to like talk about
why he's so insane.
Yeah, or how he even does that.
Yeah, the timing alone is kind of insane.
We did figure out government workers seem to be able to get out and run a lot more than.
Weird how that works.
Yeah.
And then what was that top elevation?
Overall, it was Adam Driscoll with 34,000 feet.
No, more than that.
That's what's on here.
Which is on what part? That is not accurate then. He had 100.
Oh, I'm looking at meters. 114,000 feet, 34,000.
I was like, wait,
meters.
that's not that much. Yeah, 114,000 feet. So that's 4 Mount Everest.
Now, tough luck for him because he did the free version.
Yeah.
So who actually would win the elevation?
Technically, it would be Patrick too, because he had 73,000 feet of gain, which makes sense because he ran 700 miles. So.
Yeah, he runs mostly trails as well.
Do you know that?
Which is the other crazy.
I would say that that trail run was the most elevation I had for like that.
Oh,
I think it equaled more than all my other runs the month.
I believe it.
That's because you run on the flats in the promenade.
That's true.
It was about 3,000 feet of elevation on Saturday.
And I only get about 100 something, a little over 100 feet of elevation on my normal run.
Oh yeah, it's totally accurate. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that in one day I at least equaled all the other runs.
Wow. All right, Meg, you've been a little quiet this.
Well, I didn't get to go on the
that is true.
Trail run.
You weren't
I was doing kid duty, going to basketball games, but
if you'd wanted, would have you wanted to?
It would have been fun to do a loop or two.
Okay.
I don't know how my body would have responded though, and based off of you two, I'm kind of glad I didn't go.
I think you would have been fine, Meg.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm feeling really beat up right now.
That's
I think
true.
Are you running the Donna Marathon?
The half. So
I'm
okay.
Your charity.
I'm doing the charity chase thing, which I got a shout out to Puma because I threw this idea out to a few different brands, and like without question, they were like, "Yeah, we're in. What do you need?" So thanks Puma for being awesome.
That's cool.
So yeah, I'm gonna start at the back of the half marathon at Donna. Try and pass as many people as possible, and for everyone I pass, they're donating $1 to the Donna Foundation.
Sweet.
I have a feeling other people might match that because they tend to have people down there that like to match challenges. So I wouldn't be surprised if somebody steps up and does it. So you have a chance to raise a substantial amount of money during this run.
There'll probably be 2,500 or 3,000 runners in the half. So we'll see how many of those.
I'm going to guess that you are going to, if 3,000 people are there, Megan will pass 2,900.
Wait, so how long is it before the start and before you start?
2
so
minutes.
I was talking to the race director and
'Cause that's not.
she was saying she thought 3 to 4 minutes. I think it's going to be closer to like 10. Because there's a lot. It's the half and the full that go out together. And there's a ton of walkers.
There's definitely a few minutes because I last year when you guys were running and I was taking pictures, I had some time before everybody went through.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting though. I think, I have a feeling it'll be.
It looks like we're going to get it's very windy on Saturday. We'll see what happens on Sunday.
So exactly like last year.
Yeah.
I'm psyched because Ben Johnson's coming. We just interviewed a runner that Megan kind of ran with in Houston.
Yeah.
Jeremy. And then Aldrin will be down there. And what's Aldrin's friend? Christina
Welsh.
That we also interviewed.
Podcast.
Yeah, we'll be down there. So we'll hook up with them. Probably do some shenanigans. We are not doing a shakeout run. People have asked. Reason being is Saturday they have a 5K and some other events, and we really don't want to be taking people or anybody away from participating in.
But yeah, we'll be so they have 5K events in downtown Jacksonville at the Jaguar Stadium. So Thomas and I will be there taking photos and posting stuff. So
last time I ran around with Ben Johnson.
Yep.
It was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. That sounds really cool. I think it'll be a good time. I'm a little bummed I couldn't go, but I was like on the fence about it. I don't know.
Dude, it's going to be 17 degrees here this weekend. We are avoiding that.
I forgot about that.
Yep.
What'll it be there, low?
50s to 70s.
Probably nice. Really? 50s to 70s?
Yeah.
50 in the morning, 70 in the afternoon.
Last year it sucked, so.
I know.
I actually think the low's close to 60 on
Last
Sunday.
year, Robbie went fishing with a guy, and his foot came back frozen.
Oh, dude, it took probably 2 hours to thaw my foot out under a floor heater in a car.
Yeah, we thought Robbie was going to lose a leg.
And for not, I think we caught one fish. It was like the worst fishing conditions I've ever been in. But I want to go back and have a redemption shot at it.
I mean, here's the crazy thing. This is the crazy thing. So just the audience, so you know, if you invite Robbie to something, chances are he'll go to it if he doesn't know you. Like if you said, hey, we're having a bonfire, come on down. Robbie's showing up.
Yeah.
You say to Megan or myself, hey, want to go fishing on my boat? And we'll be like, that could end bad. No.
Honestly, no joke, when we're going to Tokyo, I was trying to think of a way to extend it a day or do something where I could go camping.
In Tokyo?
Well, because, that one guy from ASICS, Komori.
Roy.
Yeah, Roy. He loves to go camping and stuff. And some of the photos they have of going camping near Mount Fuji, I'm like, I definitely want to do that. Yeah. But it's just like not going to work, you know? But it looked awesome. I was like, that's like most people be like, hang out in Tokyo. But I would have thought it'd be very cool to go camping near Mount Fuji. But
I would probably enjoy going somewhere near Mount Fuji, but then going back.
Yeah. I think they do camping really nice, though, because he was...
like in yurts or something?
Almost. Just nice tents doing pour-over coffee.
Glamping.
Pour-over coffee, like making some nice Japanese meats over the fire. I'm like,
see, I like that, and I get your appeal to that, but it is kind of like if I was camping in Yosemite, well, that's a bad example because now that's overcrowded. If I was camping someplace nice, Grand Canyon, whatever, you're like, it's fun, but like I wouldn't know the difference once I'm in the little campsite from Japan to Arizona. You know, it's like, okay, I'm sitting by a fire.
Yeah.
So what I like, the culture part is what I'm excited about.
Yeah, well, I think it'd be cool just to go camping with some, and maybe that's part of it too, camping with people from Japan.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's probably not going to happen. So maybe I'll get lost there and miss my flight.
I would love to hear that
That actually sounds like likely.
Like Roy's English is pretty good.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, like, if you went camping and nobody else spoke English, how much fun that would be.
Yeah.
Like Robbie just staring at him.
I guess I have to bring my Kindle.
Yeah.
Anyways, what else are we got going on?
Well, why don't we talk? Do we want to get into the shoe?
Yeah, we can.
All right. So with us going down there, Meg is running in. What is this, Meg?
Can be kitted out in Puma and the there's so many names. The Puma Deviate Nitro Elite 2.
Yes.
Is that it?
You nailed it.
Okay.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, first try.
And you ran in this morning.
I did.
Talk to me.
So when I first started running it, I was like, this kind of feels more like a tempo shoe, like your Saucony Speed or something like that. But then I did some faster miles in it, and it's pretty good.
Explain faster miles, because when you talk about faster miles, I did 30 seconds hard today, and my 30 seconds wasn't as fast as your faster miles. So
I did a couple sub 6 minute miles in it just to try and get my legs to turn over, and I felt like it felt pretty good. You know me, I love my stack, so I kind of wish that there was a little bit more to it, but it's a good pop. It's a solid ride.
Good for half marathon for you.
Yes.
Is this a shoe you would pick up for the marathon?
No.
Why not?
For the reasons I just mentioned.
You want more cush.
And I think a little bit of a softer ride for the long distance.
So you think the palm of your foot would bottom out after a few miles?
But like I said, like for the half and under, solid. I really like it.
I mean, it's got a pretty rigid
$200 too, by the way.
Yeah.
So not bad.
And I think it's not coming out till March now. Originally they said February, but I believe it's March.
It feels super light.
Oh, it's March now.
I'm actually surprised how much rubber is here on the front side. That's like a couple millimeters of rubber.
Okay, so part of the reason I also took it out this morning is because there was some like icy road conditions going on.
Are you doing that new section with the fake wood?
Oh man, that's dangerous.
It was today I had to do the thing where I didn't want to take a sharp turn because I was on it. So I was like trying to do like the straightest line I could to get, so the bricks where you cut back onto the bricks, I was like doing like this kind of like side stepping, like I like ran sideways off the bricks, but I was wearing a shoe that we can't talk about yet.
I'm just so mad that they put that up. It's like, seriously, I know it's probably more durable and lasts longer than the wooden decking, and wooden decking isn't great either, but that stuff is just dangerous.
Treacherous.
Yeah, it is real slippery.
I kind of wish they would have gone with the brick.
Yeah, I don't know. And do you know that sidewalk to nowhere on the other side of the building? Have you run on that?
No.
It runs into a set of it's like the worst street design ever. Anyways, next time you're over there, check it out.
It's on the other side?
Yeah, it's on the other side of the building, and there's a sidewalk, and it just like runs into a staircase, and there's no I don't know, it's
exit.
just funny. Yeah, anyways. But I'm excited to try this. I actually have this shoe as well. I just haven't been able to try it out yet because we've been stacked with shoes here.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but everybody got their shoes in, and we are receiving them.
It's just that time of year.
What are you going to lace up for the half, Thomas, if you're not going to race in Puma?
I kind of want to revisit the New Balance that I have.
SC Elite V3?
Well, sort of.
V3-ish?
Yeah, it's got the Elite 3 upper.
You ran New York City Marathon in it. What else do you
No. It's the one I ran London in it. The one I ran London in it. So that's, I just felt good in it. I can tell that unless a miracle happens, I'm not in racing shape right now, like fitness. Like,
wait, why don't you run it in this shoe anyways?
I mean, I guess I could throw a little support towards Megan.
Yeah. And Puma.
Solidarity.
Yeah.
And Puma.
Yeah. If you're not racing it.
I'll try it. Well, see, that's the thing. I always want to be ready to race.
In case everything aligns.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you'll be okay if you were the Deviate Elite too.
I agree.
All right, maybe I'll give it a shot. So right now, just Robbie, what shoes are you rotating through to review right now?
Well, I finished my miles in that Diodora shoe, and then I ran in that Noble shoe.
Oh yeah,
which is kind of crazy because it's not a bad shoe.
See, I feel like you're the not a bad shoe reviewer. Like when we get Allbirds, you're like, it's not as bad as you think it is.
Well, I like reviewing the
obscure.
Yeah, the weird shoes.
Yeah, but
the Noble one, like seriously, it feels almost exactly like the Endorphin Speed.
That's crazy.
Because it's 100% Pebax midsole, nylon plate. Stacks, I think, exactly the same almost. The uppers kind of crap, but other than that, the ride pretty similar.
Pretty solid.
Yeah. But it's I think $190 or something.
Whoa.
Like that. Yeah.
They're saying this is a running shoe, like it's not because
yeah,
I know they like.
No, it's called the Runner Plus.
Okay.
So they have a shoe called the Runner,
okay.
which is they sent me first by accident. Because I didn't want to test that one, and it was on foot just putting it on. I was like, "This is a garbage shoe." Like you could tell, it was just bad.
Yeah.
But this one is the Runner Plus, which is their, like I don't know.
Why can't anybody come up with new stuff like Plus? Everybody got Plus, Elite,
right?
What's in Pro?
There's just not that many synonyms to.
There's tons of them. Just
I think you just make up
a word,
random names.
Yeah, just make stuff up.
It's getting crazy.
Skechers did Go Run, and I still hate them to this day for it because it's.
Well, yeah, but is
it one word or two words?
But they throw it on everything, and then they capitalize one all.
GNO is all.
They have like 3 different spelling conventions for it.
Yeah, no, that we just got a sheet, and it was capital G O space capital R U N.
It used to be capital G capital O.
Right.
And then they've also said before you can put the 2 words together, just capitalize the R.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I liked my favorite version of it was capital G, capital O, lowercase R, U.
This coming from a brand without a T in their name. So let's just think about that.
Anyway,
but you've been running the Speed Beast.
I ran the Speed. Well, I don't know.
Oh.
I guess I can talk about it, right?
Yeah.
So there's a new Max cushion shoe for racing.
I don't know. Is it supposed to be for racing? They said it is, right?
I mean,
doesn't it have a carbon plate?
Yeah, it's got a partial plate in the toe.
But I think it's like heavy though, or for a racing shoe.
Well, I wore it for my speed work today,
Uh-huh.
and it is heavier, but you get that bounce off the foam, kind of gives you. The reason why I think Meg would love it is it has that Max cushion feel, but it is. I mean, it's not, I don't know. Like, I think you would end up using it like you'd use an SE trainer.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, like, maybe I shouldn't have done the speed knit. Maybe I could have used a different shoe, but it was so comfy and I felt good the whole time.
That's nice.
Like, it felt great at all speeds. It felt good at my warm-up speeds. It felt really good when I was doing my...
I need to try that shoe now.
Yeah, I was trying... I had 30-second repeats, so I was going hard. And it felt good.
Okay.
Felt good like that.
And that's a $180 shoe, I think.
Yeah, I think for the price, it's a pretty decent shoe. I mean, it's probably one of the better Skechers I've run in as of late. The foam is so much better than the old. When Hyperburst first came out, it was the first supercritical.
Right.
And it was great. But things have evolved, even in this shoe that Megan was wearing this morning, the Puma Deviate Elite.
Nitro.
I
missed that.
Yeah. Elite 2. It has a, supercritical foam.
Yeah.
So they've come a long way, and Skechers kind of didn't evolve with it. And I even felt some of the race shoes were harsh, but it felt really good.
Nice.
But right now I just finished miles on the Rivera, so we'll do a video review of that and write that up. I've got the Kimbara that I want to get done.
Right.
I was hoping to get into the ride, but between Speed Beast and some of the other shoes that we have.
Are you running in the ride? Is that what you're running in today?
No, I ran in the Puma Elite this morning,
okay.
but I ran in the ride the other day. I struggled with that one a little bit.
It's like, isn't it the exact same shoe as last year?
Pretty
just
much.
Different upper?
But,
it is.
And we've gotten so spoiled with like these plated daily trainers. Like I think I look at the SC trainer and then I look at the ride and I'm like, this one doesn't work.
I feel yeah.
See, and that's funny because I like the Kinvara this year because I feel like it's back to that simple, fun, snappy ride. And what they've done with the midsole, I felt like the 13 Kinvara, I didn't really enjoy that much because it just felt like a harsh layer of power run underneath your foot. And this one they've shaped more like the Ride Daily Trainer. The shape of it feels the same against your foot and when you have in the shoe. And it has that nice roll, and they added 3 millimeters of stack, so it's a little bit more off the ground. And I think it's really nice, but I get where Megan is. It is tough when you have shoes that match your exact preference. But I think when we're reviewing shoes, we got to look at it from not just if it matches our preference, but does this shoe do what it's intended to do?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Or who does this shoe work for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've seen so many people, even at Houston, so many people running in the Ride as their race day shoe.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, it is firmer. I can understand that.
Yeah.
I think the majority of people just, go to their local running store.
Yeah.
Brooks Ghost. Is that the Ghost is the
top seller?
Top seller, right? Yeah. I always get that mixed up with the
Launch.
No, and the Adrenaline maybe. Wait, no, the Adrenaline's a little
Glycerin.
Glycerin. That's the one. Glycerin and Ghost I always get mixed up.
Yeah. But for example, like reviewing the Ultra Rivera, that's not a shoe necessarily for me, but I like it for what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I think the Ultra people might want to start making their way towards Topo, though. Although Topo's bought out now, so who knows? Maybe they'll change.
What do you mean, adding a little drop here and there?
No, I just think that Topo's staying more direct to the vision of natural running than Ultra is, and maybe kind of just making better, like the Cyclone 2.
Yeah,
is like that's a nice, like Ultra doesn't have a shoe like that. Maybe the Vanish Tempo, but that's
it's $290. Yeah,
And
that's funny because also like when I start looking at price, there is a reason like to have different brands at different prices. When I look at Ultra, that's not what I would consider a premium brand.
Right. Yeah. And I don't think their customers are also like on board with that.
Like I feel like Ultra customers are Wrangler jean wearing people.
Yeah, it's people who homeschool their kids.
Okay, these are things you can't say.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I'm not against it. I like it, but it's like
it's a different animal.
Dude, most of my friends are homeschooled, which explains a lot. I was borderline homeschooled. So yeah, that's the Ultra fam out there.
Don't
not
attack.
Judging them.
I feel like they're like the Beyonce beehive or whatever. Or what do they call them?
Yeah, I think it's a beehive.
Like if we ever say anything bad about Ultra, they're like,
they come at you.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that concert Beyonce did in Dubai? Dude, she did a concert at the opening of a hotel in Dubai. She got paid, which was like her first live show in like 3 years or something. She got paid $25 million for it.
Stop.
I swear. $25 million.
That's a nice day.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I'll sing for that.
Dude, just imagine if you're one of those oil tycoons. You're like there's literally no price tag on any, like you can get anything you want.
Yeah, people like
anyone can be bought.
Yeah, people like it's priceless.
That's the Beyonce's like the one person who can't be bought. Like you would say, there's no way she's gonna do a private concert. There's a price tag for it. Anyone can be.
Birthdays, 30 mil. Yeah, I'll be there.
I mean, dude, but I'm not judging either.
Okay, so that gives me a question. If you could have anybody at your next grit party,
you can't just put this on the spot. This is like something I have to think about for a week.
Megan, who would be? Yeah, I know who Megan's would be right now.
Who?
Taylor Swift.
Oh, we're talking musicians.
Entertainment.
You can have anything you want. Ilya Kipchoge, entertainer.
Yeah, see, I would also like to think about this.
Oh, jeez.
Well, who would yours be?
It might be Weird Al Yankovic.
What?
I think we could probably make that happen.
We might. I think it would just be.
That's definitely in the budget.
Yeah.
Seriously, I think we could probably get Weird Al Yankovic.
He's pretty big, dude.
Dude,
I think
still?
bigger than you.
Like
What
what if we call it the Weird Al Yankovic Summer Grit, and we come up with a theme? The themes will all be Weird Al Yankovic theme.
What's a song that rhymes with like grit? Beat grit, just beat grit. Oh, just beat grit. Like just beat it.
He already did that one.
But yeah, beat grit. You have to beat grit to win.
I mean, anything that ends with it.
I'm gonna say this. Yeah.
All right. Let us know if you want to do Summer Grit with Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah. No, he is like one of my top
Yankovic
person just to hang out with.
Grit.
Yankovic Grit. Yeah. If I could, he's in my top 5 of people that I would want to, like road trip. If you have 5 people,
he's on tour right now.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is he coming to Baltimore?
I wish he was a runner. I don't know. Is he a runner?
Looks like
probably not.
Nowhere near us.
Nowhere near. It's not even DC.
No. He's going over to Europe and Australia later this month.
You know what?
Find out where he's in the summer.
Do you know what's super weird is that the way that he ended up playing accordion is that a door-to-door salesman was coming to his house selling instruments, and it was like accordion and guitar or something. And the greatest accordion player ever prior to him, the last name was Yankovic. And because they had the same last name, his mom said, "We'll take the accordion." And then that's how he ended up playing accordion.
He's homeschooled.
And he basically was not. He wasn't homeschooled, but there was a similar vibe.
What's so fascinating about him that you'd want him to be your person?
I just think it's like the greatest American success story of somebody whose talent is playing the accordion, and he leveraged that into a career that spanned acting, hanging out with like Kurt Cobain, like actually talking to Kurt Cobain on the phone about doing his song, getting approval from Coolio, like all this crazy stuff, like from a nerd who played the accordion in his bedroom by himself. Like it's an amazing like path to success.
I do wonder for him, like, how music has changed and there's not like hits so much anymore. Mm-hmm. I mean, Megan are there?
But I
feel like they're like
the other thing
week
too.
long.
You're not into them anymore.
Is that he's had number one singles over spanning 4 decades, which is a rare feat.
You saw Madonna's going back on tour. Speaking,
you brought that up another time.
Yeah. You seem very excited about that.
I'm a material girl in a material.
What was
world.
the one he covered of Madonna? Or like
Material Girl, I think. Living in a material.
No,
world.
the one that Weird Al covered.
Like a Virgin.
Yeah, but what was the name of it? What was the spin-off?
The spin-off? Jeez. I don't know, but that I felt was the Yankovic era. Michael Jackson.
Oh, totally.
Madonna.
Like a Surgeon.
Yeah.
Anyways, but that would be cool.
All right. So for your Summer Grit, you going with Taylor Swift?
I mean, if I have to choose right now, yeah.
All right.
That's a good one.
Weird Al Yankovic, Taylor Swift concert.
Can't go wrong there.
Something for everybody.
But let's be real. We all want Y'all Out Boy there.
Okay, yeah.
That's the only answer.
I kind of do. I saw they just posted a video today, and I saw it on Instagram, and I was like, damn. So for those of you who don't know, after we saw the Y'all Out Boy the first time, which was the best time.
Mm-hmm. And this was at the Brooks after party at the running event.
Yeah. I tried to surprise the team because the running event's early December. I tried to surprise the team by buying everybody a Y'all Out Boy t-shirt. And they had really nice ones, black with red writing on them. And I tried to get them, and they just never came. And they ended up emailing me and be like, yeah, we're sold out of that shirt if you want a different shirt or whatever. And I was like, it was like 4 months later.
Sounds like every band I've ever known.
I was like, damn it. But they may have new shirts. Maybe we should get a new shirt for the team.
Yeah,
I'll look into it.
But the one thing they said that was kind of crazy. So they had a big line in Austin. They were doing a concert, and there was like a block long line to get into the show. But they did okay, Y'all Out Boy on 3. And I thought it was funny because I don't think one of them said the whole name.
Yeah.
They should just say Y'all Out.
Y'all Out.
Y'all Out.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and for anyone who doesn't know, they're a cover band that does like late 90s, early 2000s, which is the best time.
They have a good playlist on Spotify.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Check it out. All right, cool. Anything else for today?
I think that's it.
Our guest this week is Brent James from
Tracksmith, Brent James. Awesome.
Designer.
Also neighbor to the headquarter.
Yeah.
Which makes it amazing that the guy that designed the Tracksmith running shoe can walk over, come in for the podcast,
Pretty cool.
shoot a video. And the video should go out, I guess, this Friday, or are we going to do it earlier?
Yeah, I mean, probably Friday. I guess we might as well now that we mentioned it.
Cool. And yeah, so here's Brent.